What if I told you that a simple 5 new pence coin could be worth way more than just 5 pence? Today, we're diving into 6 of the rarest and most valuable Elizabeth II 5 new pence coins you should be looking for right now. From the very first 1968 issue to the early 1980s releases, some of these coins have become hidden treasures for collectors. We'll explore their history, why certain years are more valuable, what mint details to check, and how much they're actually selling for today. One of these dates might seriously surprise you. So before you spend that old 5p coin, watch this first. Let's get started. The 1968 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin. To truly understand the 1968 5 new pence coin, we must step into Britain in the late 1960s. For centuries, the country had operated under a complex monetary system of pounds, shillings, and pence. 12 pence made a shilling, 20 shillings made a pound. Calculations were cumbersome, and by the mid-20th century, the system was outdated compared to the decimal currencies used across much of the world. Reform was inevitable. The British government announced that the nation would convert to a decimal system on February 15, 1971, a day that would become known as Decimal Day. But preparing an entire population for monetary change required careful planning. New coins needed to be introduced gradually, so that businesses and citizens could adjust. That is where the 1968 5 new pence coin entered history. Introduced 3 years before Decimal Day, the 5 new pence coin was struck to match the exact size and weight of the existing 1 shilling coin. This was intentional. In the upcoming decimal system, 5 new pence would equal 1 shilling. By keeping the size identical, the new coin could circulate side by side with the old shilling. This clever strategy allowed the public to grow familiar with decimal denominations without immediate disruption. The obverse of the 1968 5 new pence features the first definitive coinage portrait of Queen Elizabeth II created by Arnold Machin. This effigy shows a young queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, facing right with elegant simplicity. The inscription Elizabeth II DG Reg FD surrounds the portrait, affirming her title as Queen and Defender of the Faith. The Machin portrait became one of the longest-running and most recognizable royal coin designs in British history. On the reverse, the coin features the crowned Scottish thistle, a powerful symbol of Scotland and one of the floral emblems of the United Kingdom. The thistle is bold, symmetrical, and topped with the St. Edward's crown. Below it appears the denomination new pence and the date 1968. The inclusion of the word new was significant. It emphasized that this coin belonged to the new decimal era, even before that era officially began. Struck in copper nickel, the 1968 5 new pence weighs approximately 5.65 grams and measures about 23.6 millimeters in diameter. Its composition provided durability for heavy circulation, which it certainly experienced. Because it matched the old shilling in size, many of these coins circulated interchangeably with shillings well into the 1970s. Now let's examine mintage, because this is where collector perception often begins. The Royal Mint produced a substantial quantity of 1968 5 new pence coins. Official figures indicate a mintage of approximately 63.5 million pieces. At first glance, that suggests the coin is common, and indeed, circulated examples are still relatively easy to find. However, survival in high grade tells a different story. These coins entered circulation years before Decimal Day and remained in use for decades. The large-size 5 pence continued circulating until 1990, when it was replaced with a smaller version to reduce metal costs and align with European coinage standards. Once withdrawn, many older coins were melted. This melting reduced the surviving pool of uncirculated and high-grade specimens. In heavily circulated condition, the 1968 5 new pence typically carries modest value, often between 50 pence and a few pounds depending on wear. In extremely fine condition, values can rise to 5 or 10 pounds. But when you step into brilliant uncirculated territory, prices climb significantly. Well-preserved coins with strong luster and minimal contact marks can sell for 20 to 40 pounds. Certified top-grade examples, especially those graded at the highest levels by professional grading services, can command even higher premiums. Error coins add another dimension to value. Off-center strikes, where the coin design is misaligned, are highly collectible. The more dramatic the misalignment while retaining a visible date, the greater the potential value. Some dramatic off-center 1968 5 new pence coins have sold for over £100, depending on eye appeal and severity. Double die varieties are another area of interest. These occur when the working die receives a doubled impression during hubbing, causing subtle duplication of lettering or design elements. Collectors examine the queen's portrait and the lettering for signs of doubling. Authenticated examples can command substantial premiums. Broad strikes, caused by the absence of a retaining collar during striking, result in coins that are slightly larger with softer rims. These are scarce and appealing to error specialists. Additionally, coins with unusual die cracks, clipped planchets, or lamination errors can bring strong prices in the niche error market. Collector interest in the 1968 5 new pence coin stems from its status as a pre-decimalization issue. It represents preparation, transition, and modernization. It marks the final chapter of the shilling's legacy and the birth of decimal currency. For typeset collectors, it is essential. For Elizabeth II portrait collectors, it showcases the early Mackin effigy. For decimal specialists, it is a cornerstone piece. The 1970 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin. To understand the 1975 new pence coin, we must step into one of the most dramatic financial transitions in modern British history. For centuries, the United Kingdom operated under the complex pre-decimal system of pounds, shillings, and pence. 12 pence made a shilling, 20 shillings made a pound, and calculations required mental gymnastics. By the late 1960s, modernization became unavoidable. Decimalization was approved, and February 15, 1971 became Decimal Day. But before Decimal Day officially arrived, the Royal Mint began issuing decimal coins to prepare the public. The 5 new pence coin was introduced early, and the 1970 issue occupies a unique and highly collectible position in that transition. The 5 new pence was designed to match the size and weight of the pre-decimal 1 shilling coin. This was intentional. The government wanted both coins to circulate together temporarily so that the public could adapt without confusion. That decision gave the 5 new pence a diameter of 23.59 millimeters and a weight of 5.65 grams, struck in copper-nickel composition. In essence, it was a decimal coin wearing the physical identity of the old shilling. The obverse features the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Mackin. This effigy presents a youthful queen facing right, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The surrounding inscription reads Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, affirming her title by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The Mackin portrait remains one of the most admired coin portraits in British numismatic history, praised for its simplicity and elegance. The reverse design, created by Christopher Ironside, features a crowned thistle encircled by the denomination new pence. The thistle is a proud emblem of Scotland, and its inclusion reflects the unity of the United Kingdom within decimal coinage. The design is bold, symmetrical, and deeply rooted in heraldic tradition. What makes the 1970 issue especially important is its method of release. Unlike later circulating years, the 1975 new pence coin was not struck in massive quantities for general circulation. Instead, it was primarily issued in annual mint sets and proof sets. Estimated mintages suggest approximately 750,000 coins were produced, a modest number compared to later years that reached into the tens or even hundreds of millions. This limited mintage instantly positions the 1975 new pence as a key date within the decimal 5p series. Many examples remain preserved in original packaging, but once removed from mint sets and exposed to handling, they often develop surface marks and toning. High-grade uncirculated examples with full mint luster are becoming more difficult to source as decades pass. Proof versions from 1970 are particularly desirable. These coins were struck with polished dies and specially prepared planchets, resulting in mirror-like fields and frosted devices. Deep cameo examples displaying strong contrast between the portrait and the reflective background command premium prices. In top certified grades, these proofs can sell for significant sums compared to their original face value. Errors on the 1970 issue are rare but extremely collectible. Because production was controlled and largely destined for mint sets, fewer dramatic mint errors escaped into the market. However, collectors have identified occasional die cracks, minor off-center strikes, and rare planchet flaws. When authenticated, these errors can bring impressive premiums due to the already limited mintage of the date. Market value for the 1975 new pence varies dramatically by condition. Circulated examples, especially those removed from sets and lightly used, command modest premiums. Brilliant uncirculated coins in exceptional condition see stronger demand. Certified high-grade specimens graded by respected third-party grading services often achieve prices many multiples above face value. Proof examples and top grades represent the pinnacle of desirability within the year. Collector interest remains strong for several reasons. First, the 1970 coin represents the final year before Decimal Day. It embodies the preparation phase of Britain's currency transformation. Second, it is a low-mintage key date. Third, it carries the transitional inscription New Pence. Terminology later shortened in 1982 to simply 5 pence. For numismatists building a complete decimal 5p set, the 1970 issue is essential. It is often one of the first dates that new collectors realize is more elusive than expected. Its combination of historical importance and relatively low production ensures its continued relevance in the market. The 1971 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin. Now we move to Decimal Day itself. February 15th, 1971 marked the official conversion to decimal currency in the United Kingdom. The 1971 5 new pence coin became one of the first 5 pence pieces struck for circulation under the fully implemented decimal system. Visually, the 1971 5 new pence coin retained the same designs introduced in 1968. The obverse continued to feature the Arnold Machin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, maintaining continuity and familiarity during change. The reverse once again displayed the crowned Scottish thistle with the inscription New Pence and the date 1971. Although the design remained consistent, the historical context shifted dramatically. Unlike the 1968 issue, which prepared the public for change, the 1971 coin represented change realized. It was among the first decimal coins that symbolized a modernized Britain operating under a simplified currency structure. The mintage of the 1971 5 new pence was significantly higher than its 1968 predecessor. To meet nationwide demand during the transition, the Royal Mint struck approximately 169 million pieces. This large mintage ensured widespread availability, making circulated examples common today. In worn condition, 1971 5 new pence coins typically trade for face value or slightly above. However, as with the 1968 issue, high-grade examples tell a different story. Because these coins were heavily used for nearly 2 decades before the size reduction in 1990, pristine survivors are less common than the raw mintage implies. Brilliant uncirculated examples with strong luster and clean surfaces can sell for 10 to 30 pounds. Top-graded certified examples can command even more, especially if they are among the finest known. Error varieties once again create excitement. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and double dies are all known within early decimal issues. Because of the high mintage, some errors exist in greater quantity than in lower mintage years, but dramatic examples still command strong premiums. One particularly collectible category involves transitional usage. Since the coin was identical in size to the old shilling, shillings remained legal tender as 5 pence until 1990. This overlap fascinates collectors because it highlights the continuity between pre-decimal and decimal systems. Some collectors build paired sets of 1971 5 new pence coins alongside earlier shillings to illustrate the transformation. Market demand for the 1971 5 new pence remains steady, particularly among collectors completing date runs of large-size 5 pence coins. While common in circulated grades, the coin gains real collector value in high uncirculated condition or as a certified error piece. The broader significance of both the 1968 and 1971 issues lies in their role within British monetary reform. Together, they tell the story of preparation and execution. The 1968 coin prepared the nation. The 1971 coin confirmed the transition. Both carried the crowned thistle, symbolizing unity and tradition. Both featured the youthful Machin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, reinforcing stability during economic change. When the large 5 pence was replaced with a smaller version in 1990, an era ended. Many earlier coins were withdrawn and melted, thinning the surviving population. Today, collectors recognize these large coins as tangible artifacts of Britain's decimal revolution. For investors, The key remains condition and rarity. Circulated examples are affordable and accessible, but high-grade certified coins and dramatic mint errors offer stronger long-term potential. As decimal-era coin collecting continues to grow, competition for the finest known specimens intensifies. The 1968 and 1971 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coins may appear simple at first glance. Yet within their copper-nickel surfaces lies a powerful story of modernization, continuity, and national identity. They are reminders that even everyday currency can carry extraordinary historical weight, and sometimes the coins we overlook in old jars and drawers are the very pieces that connect us most vividly to moments of change. In the world of numismatics, history is not only written in books. It is struck in metal, passed from hand to hand, and preserved by those who recognize its significance. The 1978 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin. The 1978 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin stands as a significant piece of Britain's early decimal currency era. To truly understand its value and importance, we must go back to the monumental change that reshaped British coinage forever. Decimal Day, February 15, 1971. After centuries of using pounds, shillings, and pence, the United Kingdom transitioned to a decimal system based on 100 pence to the pound. The 5 new pence coin replaced the old 1 shilling coin, commonly known as the shilling, and was intentionally struck in the same size and composition to ease public acceptance. By 1978, decimal currency had been circulating for 7 years. The new pence inscription still appeared on the reverse, reminding the public of the relatively recent change. This transitional wording would remain until 1981, when the word new was removed. That detail alone makes pre-1982 issues historically distinct. The obverse of the 1978 5 new pence features the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait, introduced in 1968, is widely regarded as one of the most elegant effigies in British coinage history. The Queen faces right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The simplicity of Machin's design gives the portrait a timeless quality. Surrounding the effigy is the Latin inscription Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. On the reverse, designed by Christopher Ironside, we see the crowned thistle of Scotland. The thistle is bold and sharply defined, representing strength and resilience, long associated with Scottish heritage. Above the design appears the inscription New Pence, and below it, the date 1978. The combination of national symbolism and modern typography reflects Britain's effort to balance tradition with modernization during the decimal transition. The coin was struck in cupronickel, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 5.65 grams and measures 23.6 millimeters in diameter, matching the earlier shilling. Its milled edge provides durability and resistance to wear, but heavy circulation in the 1970s often left these coins with contact marks and dulled surfaces. The Royal Mint produced approximately 68 million 1978 5 new pence coins for circulation. At first glance, that number suggests the coin is common, and in circulated grades, it absolutely is. Most examples encountered in change are worth face value. However, the story changes dramatically when we examine condition scarcity. Because these coins were produced for everyday use, they entered circulation immediately and remained there for years. Very few were intentionally saved in pristine condition at the time of release. As a result, high-grade uncirculated examples are scarcer than many collectors expect. In brilliant uncirculated condition, a 1978 5 new pence coin typically commands between 3 and 8 pounds. In certified mint state grades equivalent to MS65 or higher, values can range from 15 to 40 pounds depending on surface quality and strike sharpness. Coins displaying full original mint luster, minimal contact marks, and sharp detail in the thistle's leaves and crown often achieve the highest premiums. Strike quality is particularly important for this issue. Some 1978 coins show weakness in the central detail of the thistle or softness in the Queen's hair above the ear due to dye wear. Collectors pay more for sharply struck examples where the thistle's barbs are crisp and the crown detail is fully defined. Error coins add another layer of excitement. Off-center strikes are among the most dramatic. A 1978 5 new pence struck 10 to 20% off-center with the full date visible can sell between 40 and 120 pounds, depending on overall eye appeal. More extreme examples may command even higher prices. Clipped planchet errors are also known. Because the coin's circular design is easily recognizable, a curved clip along the edge is highly noticeable and collectible. These typically sell in the range of 30 to 90 pounds. Die cracks and die clashes, where the dies struck each other without a blank between them, can also appear and are sought after by variety specialists. Another rare but highly valuable category is wrong planchet errors. Though extremely uncommon, if a 1978 5 new pence were struck on an incorrect blank, such as a foreign coin planchet or a smaller denomination blank, it could reach into the hundreds of pounds at auction, depending on authentication. Collector interest in the 1978 issue continues to grow, especially among enthusiasts building complete date runs of early decimal coinage. As more collectors focus on modern British coins, attention shifts toward condition rarity. Coins once dismissed as ordinary pocket change are now being examined closely for top-grade potential. Historically, 1978 sits just before a significant turning point in British political history, as the country approached the transformative year of 1979. For some collectors, coins from this period symbolize the final years before major economic and political change. The 1978 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin may not be rare in the absolute sense, but in exceptional preservation, it becomes a highly collectible and increasingly appreciated piece of Britain's decimal story. The 1979 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin. The 1979 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin carries even deeper historical resonance. This year marked a pivotal moment in modern British history, as it saw the election of Margaret Thatcher as Prime Minister and the beginning of a new political and economic era. Coins minted in 1979 circulated during a time of transition and change, adding historical context to their numismatic appeal. Visually, the 1979 issue maintains the same core design elements as the 1978 coin. The obverse features Arnold Machin's portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, dignified and composed. The Latin legend remains unchanged, encircling the Queen's profile. The reverse again displays Christopher Ironside's crowned thistle, with new pence above and the date 1979 below. The composition remains cupronickel, with the same weight and diameter as its predecessor. However, the mintage for 1979 dropped to approximately 45 million coins, significantly lower than the 1978 total. While still substantial, this reduced mintage creates slightly increased scarcity, especially in higher grades. Like the 1978 issue, most 1979 5 new pence coins were heavily circulated. Surface abrasions, bag marks, and dulling are common. As a result, true brilliant uncirculated examples are more difficult to find than casual observers might assume. In circulated condition, the coin remains worth face value. In uncirculated grades, values typically range from 4 to 10 pounds. Certified high-grade examples equivalent to MS66 or higher can sell for 25 to 60 pounds, depending on luster and strike sharpness. Coins with exceptional eye appeal and virtually flawless surfaces may command even stronger premiums. Strike quality again plays a crucial role. The thistle's central detail, including the texture of the leaves and the crown's arches, should be examined closely. Weak strikes are common due to die wear, making sharply struck examples more desirable. Error varieties generate additional collector excitement. Off-center strikes from 1979 can fetch 50 to 150 pounds, depending on the degree of displacement. Clipped planchets typically trade between 40 and 100 pounds. Die cracks and clashes are also collected, especially when bold and clearly visible. One fascinating aspect of the 1979 issue is its position near the end of the new pence era. By 1982, the inscription would change to simply 5 pence. This makes the 1979 coin part of a finite design period, enhancing its historical distinctiveness. There is also niche interest in die pairing variations. Subtle differences in lettering alignment, rim thickness, and strike characteristics have been noted by advanced collectors. While not widely cataloged as major varieties, these small distinctions create opportunities for specialists seeking unique examples. As with the 1978 coin, wrong planchet errors are extremely rare, but potentially very valuable. Any authenticated example struck on an incorrect metal blank would likely achieve significant auction results. Collector interest in late 1970s decimal coinage has grown steadily in recent years. Nostalgia plays a powerful role, as collectors who grew up handling these coins now seek high-quality examples for their collections. Registry competition and third-party grading have further increased demand for top population pieces. Both the 1978 and 1979 Elizabeth II 5 new Pence coins demonstrate an important truth in numismatics. Rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes it is about survival in exceptional condition. These coins circulated widely, served daily commerce, and endured years of wear. Yet today, in pristine preservation or with dramatic mint errors, they command meaningful premiums and growing respect. The next time you encounter a late 1970s 5 new Pence coin, pause before dismissing it. Examine the strike. Check the luster. Look for unusual features. Because hidden within what seems like everyday change could be one of the most valuable early decimal coins in your collection. The 1980 Elizabeth II 5 new Pence coin. Moving forward a decade, the 1980 Elizabeth II 5 new Pence coin tells a very different story. By 1980, decimalization was no longer new. The public had fully embraced the decimal system. The Mackin portrait was familiar across British coinage, and the 5p coin was firmly established in daily commerce. At first glance, the 1985 new Pence appears common. Large numbers were struck for circulation, and millions entered everyday use. However, as with many modern coins, rarity often emerges not from mintage alone, but from condition, survival rates, and specific varieties. The obverse of the 1980 coin still features Arnold Mackin's portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The Queen appears slightly more mature compared to earlier strikes due to subtle refinements in die preparation over the years. The Latin legend remains unchanged, reinforcing continuity. The reverse retains Christopher Ironside's crowned thistle design with the inscription New Pence. This is significant because by 1980 the transitional wording had continued longer than many expected. Only in 1982 would the inscription change to 5 pence. That means the 1980 coin belongs to the final era of the New Pence inscription before the denomination was simplified. In terms of mintage, the 1985p saw substantial production, reaching into the tens of millions. Circulated examples are typically abundant and worth face value. However, pristine uncirculated coins tell a different story. Heavy commercial use during the 1980s resulted in extensive wear, scratches, and contact marks. Finding a flawless high-grade survivor decades later is increasingly difficult. Brilliant uncirculated examples from original mint rolls or sealed sets are highly desirable. Coins with strong luster, minimal bag marks, and clean fields command premiums. Certified coins graded in the upper mint state range can achieve impressive prices relative to their humble origins. Proof versions of the 1985 new Pence were issued in annual proof sets. These coins display exceptional strike quality and mirrored finishes. In top proof grades, particularly those achieving near-perfect certification scores, collector competition can drive prices significantly higher. Error varieties are where the 1980 issue becomes especially exciting. Collectors have discovered off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die rotations, and rare striking anomalies. Because circulation mintages were high, occasional errors escaped into public hands. Dramatic errors with strong visual impact are highly sought after and can sell for many times face value. One important factor influencing value is the survival of high-grade examples. Copper-nickel coins from this period are prone to dulling and small abrasions. Coins that have remained untouched in original mint packaging are becoming scarcer each year as sets are opened or mishandled. Condition rarity is increasingly driving market trends. Another layer of collector interest stems from generational nostalgia. Individuals who grew up in the late 1970s and early 1980s often seek coins from their childhood. The 1985p serves as a tangible reminder of everyday transactions, school lunches, bus fares, and local shops. Nostalgia fuels collecting, and this date benefits from that emotional connection. Market prices for the 1985 new Pence vary widely. Circulated examples remain nominal. High-grade uncirculated coins achieve moderate premiums. Certified top-tier mint state coins can reach strong three-figure values depending on demand. Rare and dramatic mint errors command the highest premiums, particularly when authenticated and offered at auction. When comparing the 1970 and 1985 new Pence coins, we see two distinct forms of rarity. The 1970 issue is scarce due to limited mintage and transitional context before decimal day. The 1980 issue becomes valuable primarily through condition rarity and striking errors. One represents preparation for a monetary revolution. The other reflects the maturity of the decimal era just before inscription changes reshaped the series. Both coins share the elegant Machin portrait and the heraldic crowned thistle. Both are struck in durable copper nickel. Both reflect different stages in Britain's decimal journey. And both demonstrate how even small denomination coins can carry immense historical and collectible weight. For serious collectors assembling a comprehensive Elizabeth II decimal 5p collection, these two dates stand out for different reasons. The 1970 coin is a low-mintage transitional key date. The 1980 coin challenges collectors to locate pristine high-grade survivors or spectacular mint errors. Together, they showcase the depth and diversity within modern British numismatics. Ultimately, these coins remind us that value in numismatics is not defined by metal content alone. It is defined by history, scarcity, condition, and demand. A small 5-pence coin can represent a national transformation, a generational memory, and a competitive collecting challenge all at once. And that is the magic of coin collecting. Hidden within ordinary change are extraordinary stories, waiting for those who know where to look.